It's time for the Rip City Wrap-Up. The Rip City Wrap-Up is brought to you by Dick Hanna Subaru, Believe in Nice, and Jack in the Box. Now here are your hosts, Joe Simons and Danny Marang.
To quote king of all Portland media, Danny Marang, let's take that game tape and shoot it straight into the sun. Woof, a tough one for your Portland Trailblazers. Hello, welcome into the Rip City Wrap-Up. We'll break it all down. Joe, Danny, well, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, well, fine.
We'll do a cursory pass of what happened today and then talk about other fun topics. Let us know what you think. Use the hashtag RCWrapUp. Chime into the conversation. We'll have some fun. We'll laugh. We'll cry. We'll tell some stories. I hate complaining about the officials, Danny, but
let's go ahead and do it.
This whole weekend, they were a disaster, but especially tonight. No control of this game.
We'll spend as much time on this talking about the actual game flows itself as my grandma used to like her prime rib passed through a warm window. That's about it. So
Pink.
Yeah, it's still mooing. But, instead of moo, it's more like boo. The officials tonight were a complete and utter disaster class. And we've been doing this for a long time together. I can count the number of times I've legitimately complained about the officials.
Or certainly started the show with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably only been 2 other times we've done this in 6-7 years.
7 years now. I know.
But, it's one of those things where it was an abject disaster. Now, in Detroit, it was just whistle after whistle after whistle. It's one of those things where you're just like, okay, it's going to be a ref show.
There's a consistency to it.
Just everything being called.
That's right.
This was zero game control, zero flow. Shout out Jason Benetti, who obviously is not the regular play-by-play announcer for the Blazers, steps in and just absolutely shreds that crew after Jan Hansen gets smashed in the face, hits the ground, has his head bounce off it, is damn near knocked out, and play doesn't stop. And Thiago rightfully got on the floor and chewed every single one of those refs out. And you could see the indignant petulance of that entire crew. And shout out Haberstroh, who called out
great stat
the difference between ref crews. And you and I have talked about this. It's nothing new for at least for what you've heard from me. I have been a proponent of burning down the refs union for 15 years.
So do they just have too much power as a union for that to occur?
Yeah. I was hoping that under the new CBA that would be something that was really going to be pushed, because there was a significant gap between the guys we grew up with, the Dick Pavettas,
Joey Crawford. That's exactly what I was thinking.
There's no what's crazy is the lifers now are Scott Foster, who is universally despised by coaches and players alike. Zach Zarba is the best official in the league, and he's at year 22, 23 now. But after you get past a couple of other guys, there's so many young officials in the league, and that's a failure in leadership and a failure in management and a failure in development. And that's what ends up happening is you don't have refs that have any sense of control, game flow. They don't have respect, and there's a lot of young officials. You can see them kind of tonight. There was a lot of puffing your chest out and don't tell me what to do type stuff. No, you get told what to do when you don't do your job. And I don't ever want to blame officials. The officials are not the reason the Blazers lost tonight.
No, definitely not.
But they were a reason in why the game was so clunky, so inconsistent. For both teams, there should not be a 20 free throw disparity in attempts between two teams who were beating the death out of each other.
When you have a blowout, that usually leads to a fast game.
Yeah, you're trying to keep it going.
That did not happen tonight. That first quarter was interminable. And even before they lost control of the game, the length of replays, the reviews that occurred. I know that it was really exacerbated tonight, but this is a trend in the league. In a league that has an officiating problem, it is so bad right now that there's not the Joey Crawford and the Dick Pavettas and guys because they have personalities. Okay, Joey's got a quick tee, so Sheed's not going to get in his face tonight, or if he does, watch out, Joey. Like, that would be a narrative, but there would be a bit of...
There's an understanding.
Like, there was like a wrestling element to it. There was a kayfabe involved with it.
Yeah.
To go there, like there was a fun, but this isn't fun. This is a drag to watch, and it makes the sport worse. And you have people who think this of the NBA and think about this in basketball in general, and not for nothing, but with all of the gambling issues going on, this doesn't look good either in that regard. So it's a big bowl of ugly. Add to that the game itself was ugly, if we can move past the officiating for a second.
I mean, the Blazers shot 39% from the field.
The Blazers were shorthanded. When you saw Jan Hansen was going to get the start, you're like, okay, that's a big ask. And Memphis immediately just dumps it into Edey and says, go figure it out. And Hansen has to leave the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was one of those situations where he got tossed in the fire. He obviously performed poorly in the first half. I think in the second half he started to figure some stuff out.
He did.
If you're going to take anything out of this game, that's something to take out of this game. But I think it's worth considering and highlighting, as you did. So the Blazers are missing their top 2 bigs. They're missing their top 3 guards. I mean, so you have 2 positions of the court where you're not playing guys that are a part of the plan.
And Memphis is an enormous basketball team.
I mean, Zach Edey's 7'3", 7'4". Young Hansen is, if you want to say 7'2", he's fine. He's a solid 7'1", 265, 270, and Edey just dwarfs him. Like, Edey's just this monster. Jaren's a 7-footer. Santi Aldama's 6'9", 6'10". Like, they're just a big team. Like, that's just what they are. That's how they play. Cedric Coward's, 6'8". They're just a big, big, big team, and the Blazers couldn't afford to play that big. Look, Duop Reith is, 6'8.5", 6'9" if you're lucky. Denny's 6'9", Jeremy's 6'9", but, like, you don't have the same size to kind of go with, but when they're healthy, they're enormous. But they aren't healthy. They don't have the same multiple ways to play. They don't have the same opportunities to attack the game in a way that they want to. And yeah, they underperformed tonight. It's the 4th game of a road trip. I was listening on the way in, and in the pregame, Travis Demers brought up that the Blazers have played 4 home games since November 5th. 4 home games in the span of a month, and 2 of those came on return from a 5-game road trip.
What was that Phoenix game, right, where it started at 8 p.m.?
Yep.
That's not a normal game.
No, and they had a back-to-back and then had a day off, then went back on the road, come back from that road trip, and you have a day off, but then a back-to-back, and then back on the road again. So their 4 home games have been on back-to-backs, and just like, yeah, that's weird. I haven't been in Moda for basically the last month, and it's great for us to get off air a little earlier, but it's got to be difficult for these guys to just be on the road this much. And you're talking about 4 games in 7 days again, and it's just like, oh boy, wow, that's
Mitchell, what are you doing back there?
Unbelievable.
That's an outrageous thing to put on the television.
Like, I'm the one who's supposed to get canceled. I'm the Danny who's supposed to do something out of pocket.
That's so good. I completely agree. The refs are not the reason the Blazers lost.
No, you shot 39% from the field to 35%
personnel,
from 3.
The lack of personnel was the reason. And look, the Blazers, we have given them credit, even though the record was 9-14 coming out of tonight, now 9-15. They haven't laid eggs throughout the course of the season. And even in this one, which was out of hand early and out of hand late, they cut it to 6 in the third quarter.
And then
they just couldn't sustain it. We said when that happened, okay, there's like 4 minutes left in the third quarter. If you can find a way to get to the fourth quarter with it being a single-digit margin,
and
then you're in the basketball game. And then it blew up and the game was out of hand. And then Denny got tossed.
The biggest issue in that was the free throw disparity. That's when it started to really rack up.
Right.
Denny Avdia has been an absolute monster at the free throw line. He got 3 free throws tonight, 1 trip to the line, and then 1 technical free throw that he took. 3 free throws for a guy. I mean, there was 4 or 5 different times that I saw where Denny got. I mean, one.
Thank you, Kevin Durant is my dad.
Yeah, the one where, and look, I love Denny. Denny was out of pocket, tripping Cedric Coward. And that led to John Morant being out of pocket and going at guys in a timeout. It's like, John, sit on the bench and shut up. You just stop. But Denny got clearly fouled. And then there was the one where Young Hansen got smacked across the bridge of the nose. It's like the number of times that you saw guys getting hit was just, I mean,
it was clear pretty early in the game that Denny wasn't going to get the calls that Denny is accustomed to getting. And to your point, and there you see the trip there.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's frustration from Denny, but it's not an excuse. He shouldn't have done it.
No.
It's not a clean play. And then Ja comes out and does Ja things and
stay on the bench, Ja. It's all very, 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 very dumb. Like,
it's all very icky. And this is what happens when the refs lose control of the game.
And it
snowballs.
And shout out Casey. I don't understand why the NBA keeps letting players in street clothes confront players in the court who are actually playing. I mean, you could just take out the NBA keeps letting players, just John Morant. Sit on the bench and shut up.
But this is all part of it. The refs not having control. But
I mean, East to low. Look, the Grizzlies got the benefit of the doubt by getting to the free throw line. But there was a couple calls tonight where Zach Edey got called for the foul going vertical, but he came forward a little bit, got called for the foul. The next play, Young Hansen leans forward. Now, you could say Coward grabbed with his right hand, grabbed Young Hansen's arm, but Young was leaning forward into him. And Isolo lost his mind. I was like, I get it, because there was zero consistency, zero flow. And you just can't have a crew this inexperienced. And you can't have Jason Goebel out there be the crew chief of crew that. If you're going to put inexperienced guys out there, Zach Zarba needs to lead the crew. Like, it needs to be a guy that's – Zarba is probably one of the easiest officials for guys to talk to. They do the anonymous report every year where Scott Foster is rated as the worst official in the league. Zarba is usually rated, if he's not the top, he's the second.
Is that refs self-reporting, or is
no,
that
it's
coaches
players.
or players?
Yeah, and I mean –
that must be fun to sit down with a glass of wine and fill out.
Oh, yeah, you kidding me? It's great. And I talk to players all the time. And look, the Blazers aren't the only team who do this. Pre-game, there's reports on the wall about refs.
About what they call, what they
don't.
What they
call, what they don't call, who you can talk to, who you can't, how you need to approach guys. Like, it almost turns into like a psychological profile of like, it's KYP. It's know your personnel.
Well, when you instance where it's, okay, let's bring Denny back to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Denny is very adept at drawing fouls and has been for some time now. And it's really been ramped up over the past couple of weeks. 23 attempts, 17 attempts, 15 attempts. Like, there's been a lot of games like this stacking up now. It seemed to be, if I can put the tinfoil hat on, a point of emphasis that Denny doing his decel, stopping, drawing contact, and going up is not going to be something we call unless it's really egregious. 3 free throw attempts for a guy who averages, what, top 3-4 the league at this point per game?
He was fifth coming in the night. He was over 9 a game. And, I mean, there was, like I said, there's 4 or 5 times where it wasn't like, oh, you could call it. It was an egregiously missed call.
Yes.
But Denny can't do the Luka. He can't do the, every single time.
Yes.
There was 3 different instances where he sat behind the play and complained.
He's making a habit of it now. And look, this is an hour-long show that we do 82 times. So at a certain point, if you talk about Denny Avdia enough, you're going to nitpick at the things. Big caveat to what we're saying. Big asterisk, whatever you want to put up. Denny Avdia is an all-star. He's the best Blazer by a lot. Without him, they probably don't get many of those 9 wins.
They're 17, 7, and 6 from Denny tonight, and that was a off night.
That's right.
If
you could have a great
You give him
player.
6 more free throws, he's got 23, 7, and 6, and all of a sudden it's another good night for Denny Avdia.
Yeah, Denny Avdia is not a perfect player. There is no perfect player. So we have to sit up here and talk about what we're seeing. And this is something that is becoming habitual. When he wants to get a call, he's behind the play often. This happens at least once a game. You said it happened 3 times tonight,
Yeah,
you saw?
3 different times tonight where, if you include the Cedric Coward, let me go ahead and, grab your legs kind of a deal, which, again, I don't like seeing that stuff. If you want to get into the stuff that I like to see,
yes,
Sidi Sissoko.
Oh, yeah.
Vince Williams Jr. tried to stop a play, stop transition. CeeDee's trying to rip the ball from the refs, trying to break it up. CeeDee bumping a guy, hooking a guy. Like, there's gamesmanship.
Small stuff.
There's gamesmanship and being a pest, I'm all for that. You need those guys to be able to do that. Don't trip guys. Don't hit guys below the belt. The occasional Donovan. Donovan had the one earlier this year against the Thunder where he hit the drop step on Chet and dropped the elbow right into Chet's shoulder and back. I was like, okay, that's right on the edge, but that's asserting a little bit of dominance, a little bit of physicality. But when you start tripping, basically don't go full Draymond Green. You can't do the flailing leg kick that catches Steven Adams below the belt. You can't go out and stick your leg out and trip guys. You can't undercut guys in midair. Like, there's the gamesmanship stuff and there's dirty stuff. And that was where Denny kind of crossed the line with that. And again, this isn't just sit here and like, oh my God, Denny. Guys do it. It happens. We'll get to Desmond Bane in a little bit of like, there's gamesmanship and things that happen in a game that may cross a line. But, Denny tonight, it's kind of funny. We're sitting here talking about this. He's 7 of 14, 2 of 4 from 3. The only thing he didn't really have was the free throws, and he had 5 turnovers. And that's the thing tonight. 24 turnovers.
A lot of them early, too.
I mean, that 20-point lead in the first quarter came about because they were so sloppy with the ball.
It was 30-10.
Yeah, and that comes about.
Impossible to dig yourself out of that hole.
I mean, that comes about when you're tired and you're not locked in. Again, this is game 4 in 7 days. You've been on the road for basically an entire month. You've had 4 home games in a month.
You're down 2 centers. You're starting young, which, look, it is what it is, but you got to feel like you're pushing the boulder up the hill knowing that that's what you're going into the game with.
Look, Sisyphus had that boulder roll over him every single time. And, that's the hope is that on that, on those nights against Cleveland where you do get it to the top. But we've talked about this until they get healthy, and they're not getting healthier. When you losing Donovan and Rob, that puts you behind the 8 ball. So
I can understand wanting to try to get this win when Portland was down, let's say 20, when they were down 15, kind of midway through the fourth quarter, kind of rolling with the starters, because you do have 3 days off.
Yep.
You have a little period where you're not playing a lot of games in a row. However, Young played 19 minutes. I would have loved to see like 7 or 8 more minutes. And
foul trouble.
I understand the foul trouble, and I understand the issues with Edey, but at a certain point, it's like, these boys ain't getting this one tonight. Let's get Young out there as much as we can against someone like a Zach Edey, trying to chase down Triple J sometimes. Get him out there in uncomfortable situations, because I think they're going to be far and few between, hopefully, frankly, when the team gets healthy, that Young will have the ability to play meaningful minutes. I think a lot of it's going to come for the remix and in garbage time with the Blazers. There's not going to be, again, hopefully, a lot of these opportunities where Young is going to start this season, because hopefully Donovan's healthy. Hopefully Rob can play as much as Rob can play. And Young is a curveball that you throw in there when he's up from the remix.
Yeah, I think we should talk about Young just a little bit at least. That first half, he struggled. I don't think it's uncommon. I mean, Cooper Flagg was the #1 pick of this draft. In his debut game, he was awful. And now he's out there doing things as an 18-year-old that only LeBron James has ever done. Takes time. You got to figure some stuff out.
We get it. You like Cooper Flagg.
Yeah. But, I mean, my point being,
I know,
it's one of those things where, even the best, even a guy who's a can't-miss prospect, they're going to have times. They're going to have issues. Rookies aren't good. They aren't productive towards winning regularly.
But you can understand a Blazer fan being frustrated by having a first-round pick not be able to be on the court when you see on the other side the guy who was picked.
But also Cedric Howard is 4 years older.
Sure, and that's an important point.
There's a pretty drastic difference between a 19-year-old and a 23-year-old. Like that is one of the biggest development curves in the league, is from that period. So in that regard, people are going to lose their mind. Oh, we could have Cedric Howard. My counter to that is always, where does Cedric Howard play? Like, how does he get on the floor? Because if they're healthy, who's he playing over? You playing him over 2? And we're like, well, they'll play him over Chris Murray. I'm like, cool, you get 12 minutes of Cedric Howard? Like, he's not playing over 2. You're going to play him over your favorite kid in Shaedon Sharpe? No. You're not going to play him over Denny. You're not. Everybody's like, well, play him over Jeremy. No, you're not going to do that either, because he's not as good as Jeremy.
Jeremy's been great this season. That's not going to happen.
So you've got 5 guys basically in front of him, and that's why I like Cedric Howard. I thought he was a good prospect. It was one of those situations where on draft night, I was like, look, you've got Carter from Arizona, you've got Cedric Howard, you've got Kasparas Giakoušionis. You can take one of those 3 guys. But the Blazers, they had locked in on Young Hansen and said, hey, look, we see a guy there that we think could be really good. But they've made no bones about it. He was always going to be a project.
Sure. And it's not we're drafting a guy who is going to be a part of this rotation day one.
So
it's a long con.
And that's the thing. Is like, so if he doesn't work out, then you can revisit this and go, they missed. But if it does, let's see what Young Hansen looks like at 23 years old. That's an okay. Like, as long as you're framing it that way, that's fine. But I think there's the immediate gratification of everything. The Grizzlies, are they a team that is going to go out and win a title this year? No. So what does getting Cedric Howard for them do other than for the long term? That's what you're always looking at, is what can a guy be at his peak, and can you maximize his opportunities? And look, the Grizzlies have done a really good job of drafting those kind of guys, whether it's Santi Aldama, whether it's Desmond Bane, whether it's Jaren Jackson Jr., John Morant, Jalen Wells. I mean, you go down the list.
There's a lot of talent on that roster.
Jake LaRavia, their scouting department has done very well. And anytime you see a team do something like that, you're like, ooh, if they like him, maybe we should like him too. OKC is another team that's done that. But also, just a little reminder to everybody, OKC drafted Ousmane Dieng over Jalen Williams. So, just kind of chill.
The one mistake Sam Presti made.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's one of those situations where I think it's like, hey, look, I get it. Cedric Howard is playing good basketball. Let's revisit this in a couple of years and see how this goes, because that's what this is all about. It's not about their rookie year or the right now. It's about what the long tail of their curve or of their career actually looks like. But yeah, I understand the frustration, but just slowly roll a little bit.
It's okay. And a good way to relax and unwind on this early Sunday evening, going big. And I'm talking real big.
How big?
The triple bonus Jack combo. That's 3 juicy beef patties, 3 slices of multi-American cheese,
slices.
shredded lettuce, pickles, and Jack's secret sauce. on a toasted bun. I like when you're still going to do that like in March.
Yeah, nope, still going to be there.
I know you're going to. Then you get fries and a drink also. You can order it now on the Jack in the Box app. 3 times the beef, 3 times the flavor, 3 times the Young Hansen.
Yeah, well, 3 times the Young Hansen that'll get you there. You can really feel the community spirit tonight, Joe.
Oh, and Dick Hanna Subaru is carrying that spirit forward in a big way.
Forward, huh? Right now, take home any new vehicle before year end and get 2 Mountain Hood Fusion Passes on Dick Hanna Subaru.
And when you purchase during the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru gives $250 to charity with $75 more from Dick Hanna Subaru.
With hundreds of new Subarus in stock, you're sure to drive home the one you love.
Dick Hanna Subaru. Believe it nice. It's time for a deep dive into a shallow topic. It's time for NBA. Danny, have you heard of James Harden? He was almost a Blazer.
Oh, wow. No, kind of.
Kind of. We at least talked about it one time, that he was almost a Blazer. Top 10 scorers of all time. You know who he moved out of the top 10?
Oh, you hate to see it.
Melo!
Oh, you hate
Carmelo, no longer a top 10 scorer of all time.
Hey, speaking of things Sam Presti got wrong, trading James Harden for Kevin Martin.
When you're bouncing your grandchildren on your knee and they say, Papa, tell me about James Harden, how will you respond?
It's the best isolation scorer in NBA history. That's what
your grandkids already know iso ball at that point.
There you go.
They're very advanced.
I mean, look, they're coming out of the womb. They're knowing pick and rolls, DHOs, iso. They know it all. I'm gonna have them out there going triangle.
I love it.
Triangle, Scotty.
Wow, is that
little Phil Jackson?
Was that Phil?
Little Phil Jackson.
Wow, some voice work from Marang. It must be a Sunday afternoon. I love it. So there he is, number 10.
Yeah, look at that. They have 3 top 25 scorers of all time at OKC.
Wow.
Yep, and they lost 2 of them for nothing, basically. Well, I shouldn't say that. Kevin Martin was good.
They won a title. Not with those guys.
Not with those guys. Yeah. Turns out pretty good.
It is remarkable and we were talking about this earlier with football. It's like, okay, everything's going to be fine because we're young, we're talented, and we're close. We made a conference finals. We made the Final
2012,
Four.
Like how many titles is this team going to win?
The surest bet in sports, and you never know how many chances you're going to get. Those windows are championship windows are never longer than people think they are. Right?
The only time
they're always shorter.
The only time in sports that those things have happened, the Steel Curtain era of the Steelers, the San Antonio Spurs, and the New England Patriots. That's it. Those are the 3. Like the window goes as long as the window goes. I mean, the Spurs did it over 15 years. That's insane. You know, Tom Brady basically did what in New England over 16 years. That doesn't happen.
But the Spurs
ever.
thing is more amazing because the connective tissue was always there with Duncan and Pop, but to span David Robinson to Kawhi Leonard for titles is truly remarkable and one of only a couple circumstances.
Yes, with Manu and TP also.
Of course,
as well.
of course.
Like it's turns out drafting 4 Hall of Famers really, really, really helpful.
But it leads to a little bit of what we were talking about before in terms of trying to get a rookie who helps you win now versus someone who may help you win in a few years. And it also leads into the Giannis conversation, which is a little bit different, but it's not like Giannis is a young buck.
No.
Pardon the pun. But he is 31 years old. And to make that move, yes, if you have a real opportunity and you're not giving away Denny, sure, go with God. It'd be amazing to have Giannis here and just kind of roll the dice and see what happens. But you're operating on a timeline. And OKC doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. So if you're really mortgaging everything now,
you better be ready.
What are you doing to compete with Houston, Denver, and Oklahoma City this season? That's not where Portland is as a franchise. And so to draft someone who's going to take a little bit longer,
it's okay.
I think makes sense. And that's something that I've not really done as a fan throughout my life, to be honest, is like think about the timeline in relation to the top teams in the league.
To be fair, you're a Cowboys fan.
It's an enormous factor. Well, we're never a factor. I don't have to worry about that, Dan. Schottenheimer, go for it on 4th down. You have to score 50 points to win that game. Why are you kicking so many field goals? Anyways.
But yeah, no, to that point, it's one of those situations where, yeah, the timeline matters. Now, if you get accelerated because a guy just ends up being, like Jalen Williams, perfect example. You know, the idea of him being that guy, he doesn't go to where, like, for me, the 2 perfect ones in the NBA where it turned into title winners were teams had no idea. It's Nikola Jokic in the Nuggets, Draymond Green in the Warriors. They're picked in the 40s. Nobody knew. Like, the whole idea of like that. Like, Nurk was taken in front of Jokic. And it was one of those situations where, yeah, let's see what he's got. Jokic averaged, 8 points and 4 rebounds in Summer League in his debut. It's like, you could see some flashes of stuff, but it wasn't anything that we like, oh my goodness, this is the best player on the planet. But it's being able to be lucky. That's what, like, if you see something that you think you like. Look, there's been talk around Memphis of them going away from Ja and Jaren and building the team around Zach Edey, which, to be clear, I think is absolutely insane. I think Edey's very good. I do not think he's great. But, like, there's...
Ja and just to go on that point, do Ja and Triple J have to be a package? Can you eschew Ja and try to keep Triple J and do it that way?
I think that's what they would kind of like to do.
That seems like the good middle ground.
But can you put a guy who you just paid $186 million, has won a Defensive Player of the Year, has been an All-NBA player? Now, Jaren has never been the guy, so it might be a little bit easier. But I think if you put a gun to their head, if Zach Kleiman, the general manager of the Grizzlies, and said, hey, can we do things with Cedric Howard, Jalen Wells, Zach Edey, Jaren Jackson, and whatever we get for Ja in a trade and kind of reset there, I bet you they'd say yes. But I don't know if Edey is necessarily the guy that you would do that with. And if you're the Blazers, who are the guys on the roster right now where you're like, yes, these are guys that are going to factor and matter if they're going to win a title? I think they only have 2 right now.
Right, because when you talk about that title, you're not talking about in the next year or two. You're looking beyond that.
Yes, so for me, it's Denny and 2. Like, guys who have very, very, very well-defined roles that can fit on basically any team. Like, I love Drew, but Drew's older. I love Dame. Dame's older. Jeremy, he's older. Donovan, potential. Scoot, potential. Shaden, potential. But none of those 3 guys have been like, yes, you're the guy. So you just kind of do this thing where, I've used this euphemism so many times it's getting tired, but you do the old Joker routine. You break the pool cue, you throw it in the middle and say, figure it out. And that's really what it comes down to.
It does. I think some people might take umbrage with you lumping 2 in with Denny Avdia, only because
it's not levels, it's fit.
Okay, and that's what it comes down to. Because Denny has ascended to an all-star, and 2, I don't think he's regressed as much as the social media narrative has laid out, but it has not been a sterling season so far for Toumani Camara. Toumani Camara. How many teams do you think Toumani Camara starts for across the league? A lot.
Any. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like, any. He can he can start on any team.
Right.
Like, there is a role, whether you want to play him at the 2, you want to play him at the 3, you want to play him at the 4. That's the thing. His versatility, his skill set, he can be a role player that matters no matter what. This isn't me saying Toumani is on the same level as Denny. It's what do you need in the NBA?
Well, the Toumani conversation is so interesting because the first week of the season, which feels like an eternity ago now.
Yeah, when everybody was healthy.
How many? Every single opposing coach was the one guy I'd want on my team for the Blazers is Toumani Camara. Toumani Camara is going to make this game a problem for us. Like, he was the one where praise was heaped on because everyone was healthy and it flowed together.
Playing in his role.
Precisely. And some shooting didn't go well. Some stars have gone off. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, Toumani is not worth. I was struggling with his name tonight.
You just want to go with
Toumani.
2? Just go 2.
It's a very simple name to say. People are, I think, extrapolating offensive struggles to both sides of the ball. That's been my take with Toumani so far this season. Is that a fair? Is that kind of how you feel about it so far?
For the most part, yeah. His defense has certainly dropped off, but I've seen some people say his defense has been awful or things like. It's like, no, it hasn't. It's the ask. It's the ask and roll, and we'll beat this to death. The whole idea of ask and roll and identity, it's true across the NBA. It's the adage of guys that are successful are stars in their role. Now, but your role can differ. Whether it's a star player, it's a role player, it's your secondary player. Like, take any star in the NBA. Let's take a team that has kind of like 2 stars, with the exception of the Thunder that just have so much depth.
What about the Lakers?
There you go, perfect. The Lakers have 3 stars offensively in Luka, Austin, and LeBron. If you ask Austin to step into that role, he can do it for the most part on most nights. But there's a difference between Luka and LeBron. Now, Austin Reeves is capable of going for a 40-piece, but he's also capable of having an off night because he's not the star of stars. And if you just go down the list, we've seen this with Orlando and Franz Wagner getting hurt earlier today. With Paolo and Franz last year, both of them suffering oblique injuries. When one of them was out, the other one was doing really well. And it was kind of one of those things like, yeah, because they could both toggle on, but they don't necessarily know how to fit as the second guy or playing off the ball. It was a little bit clunky, which is why they tried to bring in Desmond Bane to add a little bit of floor spacing to that and make sense of the hierarchy. It's not just about overwhelming talent unless the overwhelming talent is the 2017 Warriors. If the talent is so overwhelming, you can compensate for a lot of things. But also that talent was so overwhelming, you had the greatest shooter of all time, the greatest scorer of all time, the best defensive player of a generation, and at worst, the 5th best shooter of all time.
So generally speaking, to kind of bring it back to that initial point with Westbrook, Harden, and KD being together back then, do general managers and front offices look at the landscape of the league when building their team and look at the timeline? Like, are teams legitimately saying the Thunder have a stranglehold on this league for the next year or two? We're looking 3 or 4 years out if you're in a rebuild. Not if you're one of the top teams because you're trying to get lucky. Maybe someone gets hurt. Maybe you have a good matchup or you find something in a series.
If you're a top 5 team in either conference, you're looking at, just can we roll the dice?
Get me in the tournament.
And see what happens.
Right.
Indiana, perfect example.
Exactly.
Perfect example last year. I'll say this until I die. If Halliburton's Achilles doesn't go, the Pacers win the title. I firmly believe in Game 7. If Hallie's able to play the way he was playing, how he was playing, OKC was shook. That would have been one of the most remarkable title runs in the history of the league. It would have been maybe the coolest story in the history of the league. This ascendant team, the Thunder, that you talk about winning, 2, 3, 5, however many titles, got knocked off by the Pacers. But as far as outlook, what's been really interesting about the new CBA, what used to be looked at as kind of a 3 at most 4-year window has gone from 18 to 24 months.
That's crazy.
Just talking to general managers,
that it flips that much.
Talking to general managers, you just can't go out that far. You just can't do it. And I think that's true really across sports, whether it's the big 3 in particular, whether it's football, baseball, or basketball. The way CBAs are done, the way the money works, the way salary caps work or don't work in certain sports, Dodgers, there's the way you have to look at things. Because what happens, let's just use a baseball analogy, what happens if Shohei Ohtani's arm falls off again? The Dodgers are still great, but they're not what they were.
But to your point earlier, if Toronto wins Game 7, the Dodgers narrative goes away.
Yes.
If the Pacers win Game 7, it's like, okay, can OKC get over the hump and get it done instead of, oh my God, they're going to win 75 regular season games. This all changes. But the 18 to 24-month window thing, that's bad for fans. It's bad overall for fans.
How so?
I think you need to have tentpole organizations in sports so you have something to shoot for. People claim they like parity. They don't. I think that is a completely false narrative. You need to have stable organizations like San Antonio is a perfect example. Yeah. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't dangerous to the league. It was just that's how you're supposed to run a basketball organization, so everyone kind of points towards that. And I think that's what's happening with Oklahoma City. That is the bellwether for the league. People don't look at Denver and say, okay, that's going to be a stable franchise. It's like, oh, they have one of the best 8 players in the history of basketball, so they're always going to be relevant. They have nice pieces around it. But I think having a Thunder, I think having a Spurs is really important to have a thing to shoot for, but also to set. And it's not even just organizationally. Everyone's trying to copy Oklahoma City and the way they play pace and the way they play defense. Some teams are doing it pretty good. Some teams are not doing it very well. And now they're trying to reinvent on the fly. But just having those things to point towards, I think, is important for sports.
I agree with you partially in the sense of having that parity leads to the Pacers. Having that parity leads to the Blue Jays. Having that parity leads to what we have in the NFL right now. Who's the best team in the NFL right now?
Impossible to say.
And tuning in every week is that story that, look, this is I think this is probably most people's criticism with the 4-letter, with ESPN. It's Lakers, it's Yankees, it's Cowboys. It's
exhausting.
It's like, I'm so tired of it because it's the easy thing to latch onto. What's not easy is spending the time and getting to know the Indiana Pacers, getting to know the Houston Texans, getting to know the Portland Trail Blazers. But to me, and again, I know I'm a psycho, but for me, it's getting to know new stories. That is the thing that the NFL does better than any league. Baseball, you just kind of look at, what are you doing? And the NBA just seems to get it wrong. What they finally did after the Thunder won a title was, you know what we should do? We should put the Thunder on national TV a lot. If the Pacers had won that title, do you think that they're going to be a top 3, top 4 team in national televised games?
No.
I don't.
I still think SGA is a bit of an anonymous superstar.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, he is. I mean, yes, he gets a cell phone commercial. That's one of the most irritating things we've ever seen come April for 5 months. Tell me it's not.
It's pretty bad.
It's bad. But beyond that, it's the NBA does a terrible job of doing it unless it's done for them. But in a parity league, like we can talk about, yes, OKC's the best team in the league right now. What does this look like in April? What if,
the
Jalen
East
Williams,
is wide open.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Well, it should be the Cavs and the Knicks and the Magic. Detroit. And yet, we're getting a little bit of a push for, man, Cade's really good. But is anybody leading SportsCenter with the Eastern Conference leading Pistons? No. And that's, to me, a bigger issue. I get what you're saying as far as, like, having the narrative, having the story.
And I get what you're saying, too. I get what you're saying, too, because it is fun to have fresh bodies and fresh teams and new things to look at. But I do think it's very much 28 organizations jockeying for position to get a shot at the big boys. And I do think the NFL is different than baseball and basketball because you can win a championship if you win 3 games in the playoffs. Like the Patriots, for example. They're not a good example of a up-and-comer usually, but that's the position they're in now. They've flipped over the franchise, and if they get home field and they win 3 playoff games, they're Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Chicago's the same way. That's a new organization. So it's different because in the NBA, you have to win 16 games to win the title at a minimum. Like, you have to prove yourself round after round after round.
And I think that's what made the Thunder story so compelling in a sense is that they skipped a step. The year before, they got embarrassed by the Mavericks. But you're thinking, okay, so this year they're going to come back. They're going to be in the Western Conference Finals. Oh, they'll go to the finals and lose, right? That was kind of you have to earn it. But instead, they kind of skipped a step. And I think, so you get some impatience from fans of like, well, they did it. Perfect example, college football. You've got universities around the country pointing at Indiana going, but Cignetti did it. It's like, yes, he is having maybe the largest coaching impact in the history of modern college football. By the way, Indiana, best college football team in the country. There you go.
Let's talk about Indiana football.
There you go. I just had to work that in there. I've been saying it all year. But as it pertains to basketball, because there is those 16 games, like I firmly believe in the next 2 years, Wemby is going to be the best player on the planet, health permitting. His ability
when
and
is
impact.
he coming back, by the way?
It's a calf, so it's just
Let's,
no way. Calf injuries, we're dealing with those, huh?
pump the
Those
brakes.
are fun. But when you take a look at where Portland's at with something, and you kind of tying this back to Giannis or making a move or doing something like that, you do have to look at the landscape, but you also have to look at your books now. You've signed Shaedon Sharpe to an extension. You've signed Toumani Camara to an extension. You're going to have to make a decision on Scoot Henderson coming up here in a year plus. And you just look up and down the roster, they're in a perfectly fine position to go ahead and take their time.
That's the thing. What is the rush right now? Because then what?
You're going to fire off all your assets right now with not having a firm foundation? Hello, Phoenix Suns.
Like, losing in like, let's just play this out. If the Blazers were to trade for Giannis, what does the outcome of this season need to be to make that move justifiable? A plucky second-round exit?
Yeah, with the hope that Dame comes back, Drew comes back.
Right.
They make a trade around to optimize guys.
Sure.
But you're still not there.
And now we're the 4th or 5th best team in the Western Conference with all of that.
And then here's the thing. I will make this argument. Daryl Morey, I believe, has it where if you have a greater than 5% chance of winning a title, go. Look, the 76ers are an abject disaster. I'm not mad at Daryl Morey for doing all of the things necessary.
My guy tries. He tries.
And I like that.
He's not, and trying is not trying to keep his job. He's trying to win a title.
Look, it was my single biggest complaint about Neil Olshey. When he was the general manager of this team, we talked about this off air endlessly.
How do I dig my roots in enough to stick around every season?
How can I win 48 games?
No shot at Rodney Hood, but it's acquisitions like Rodney Hood.
Carmelo Anthony. Like just going down.
Fan service,
It's just like, what is this accomplishing? And people who say that about Young Hansen, it's one of those situations where you look at it and go, they're not in that window. They have Hall of Famers on their roster, but they aren't in their prime. Dame and Drew are both first ballot Hall of Famers, but they're both injured and they're not in their primes. So if this is 25-year-old Dame and 26-year-old Drew, I'd be sitting there going, why are you drafting Young Hansen? You're out of your mind. But you don't know that. Like what you and I talked about this coming into this season. The question about this season was not twofold, but there was a couple things we want to know. what gear can Denny get to? How much better can he be? It was one of the biggest questions I had. How much more does he have? How good can Shaden be? How good can Scoot be? How much of a leap can Donovan take? Those were the questions I had. It pertained to the young guys. But in that same vein, I know everybody wants everything to be fast. This front office has been prudent. And they've moved slower than I would like them to move, but we're talking about like a cycle behind, where if I wanted them to make a move, it was more at the trade deadline. But if they make a move at the trade deadline, like before they acquired Denny in the offseason, they had discussions with the Wizards at the trade deadline. But they couldn't come to a deal on that because they owned a draft pick that was from the Warriors. Yeah, that draft wasn't great, but if that draft pick ends up being the number 1 overall pick, because remember at that point in time, the Warriors were atrocious. And there was like, this could be a pick that moves into the top 4.
But pragmatism is not going to make anybody excited. And
No.
yes, I think the key thing to come out of the Denny trade is the pump was primed at the trade deadline to make a move in the summer. And that could be happening this trade deadline as well. But if there's not a move and we're staying pat, a lot of fans will be like, what are we doing? We have to do something. Whether or not it's the right move, any sort of inaction is what I think fan bases most issue with. Like, make a move even if it's the wrong one. I'm not saying they should make a trade.
That drives me nuts.
Of course, and me too. I completely understand.
Now, paralysis by overanalysis, that's problem.
That's one thing.
But making moves for just move's sakes, that's the New Orleans Pelicans, that's the Sacramento Kings, that's the Brooklyn Nets. And everybody's talking about, oh, this team is stuck in mediocrity, or they're not like
those are poverty franchises.
Like that is a pure unadulterated hellscape of basketball.
Because we got to pull back a little bit and look at what this team has done. Yes, this is a 9-15 basketball team. This is a team in the 10th spot of the Western Conference. They played bad tonight.
Joe, where are they at? The 10th spot. Where did we say this team was probably going to end up?
10 or 11. They're
right where we thought they were.
And this is the toughest,
drastically shorthanded.
Toughest part of the schedule. They're shorthanded. Like we've kept talking about context mattering, and context matters a lot with this basketball team. Frankly, they were lucky to come out 1-3. Like they were, and we talked about that going in, and they got a win that we probably didn't expect them to in Cleveland. They played the Thunder tough. They played Toronto tough. They got the win in Cleveland. They played Detroit tough, and they laid an egg tonight. Like that's what happened.
How many eggs have they laid this season?
2, maybe 3.
I'd say 3, maybe 4 now.
Okay.
But with those, you're 9-15. That's, it's 24 games. So if 24 of your games, you have 3 eggs when you're a team that's this shorthanded. Like, and again, how many legs did they lay when they were healthy?
Yeah.
1.
Just the 1.
And I think if you're a team that's forecasted to win anywhere between 36 and 40 games, that's what happens. I know it's hard for fans to do the whole thing where you go, oh, step back, because that's not what fans do. But I'm sitting here just chill a little bit. It doesn't excuse that it was a bad game tonight, that they underperformed and guys did this. Yeah, the refs were a complete clown show. But guys also didn't have it tonight. I don't think they played with the requisite level of intensity in the first quarter. Do you?
No, not at all. They came out completely flat. And to be honest, I do think that Don and Rob both being out took steam out of this team.
It did.
I do. And that's not Young's fault.
No.
But you have a certain feeling when it's like, oh, that's the biggest man on the planet that we're playing. They're going to throw it to him every time, and he's going to score. And then the game starts off that way, and then you feel like garbage. And so it takes you a quarter and a half, an entire half to kind of get in the basketball game. And by the time that happens, you look up, you're down 24, and even if you play great, it's not going to matter.
No, let's say they found a way to claw themselves back in this game. They lose by 5. Do you feel any better about it? No, you're sitting there going, well, if you didn't have the start that you had, and what if you get to the free throw line or the refs? And it's like,
right.
That's not how it goes, though.
I want to shout out, before we talk about Jack in the Box and Dick Hanna Subaru, I met a lovely lady last night, Beverly. Her friends call her Bucky. Big fan of the show. She says she watches all the time. Bucky, this is a test of that. Because if you're watching right now, you are a big fan of this team and this show. So we love you. Thank you so much for watching. You know that buzzer beater feeling?
No.
Not tonight. Well, that is what the new classic Smash Jack is. It's a juicy smash patty. Melty American cheese, lettuce, and Jack's Boss sauce. It's all stacked on a soft as a pillow brioche bun. For the ultimate MVP meal, I'm hungry. It's rated the best burger in fast food. You can order it now on the Jack in the Box app. Grab one and go big.
Well, it's not another big moment for Rip City, but it is a big moment for giving back.
Yes, it is, because at Dick Hanna Subaru, the Share the Love event is making a real difference this season.
Buy any new Subaru before the end of the year, and you'll receive 2 Mount Hood Fusion passes. Ooh, you gotta love that on Dick Hanna.
And every purchase during the 2025 Share the Love event means $250 donated by Subaru plus $75 more from Dick Hanna Subaru to support local charities.
More adventure, more impact, more reasons to love your Subaru.
Dick Hanna Subaru. Ooh, believe in nice. Let's trim BA again. We got some silly stuff to show you. You like Magic, Danny?
Sure.
You like Desmond Bain?
I do. I can tell you who doesn't like Desmond Bain. OG Anunoby.
This is in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena.
Overrated.
Overrated.
I didn't like it when I was there.
I love the organ.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun, but look
Bang!
at this. He just played dodgeball with him.
That's a heads-up play.
Desmond Bain did
I love that he points. Our ball.
Our ball. Desmond did get teed up for this, but I wonder why. It's well within the rules.
He did get teed up for it? I think that's outrageous.
It's within the rules.
What did he do wrong? You know what it is? I just found out why he got teed up. If he did it in one motion
instead of the full windup.
If he got it in one motion, let me take out this autographed basketball.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
So if he did it in one motion and threw it, but he had it and he kind of clapped it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna fire a slant over the middle right now.
Are you kidding me? It's a grounder to short when he's like, I've got a howitzer for an arm. Let me go ahead and pat this thing and hammer it on him. This is not the first time Desmond Bain has done this.
Oh, so good, man.
Look, there's a particular Portland Trailblazer in recent memory that was known for crossing a line or two, for possibly being dirty.
Oh, was that ever mentioned by anybody?
And nobody ever mentioned it on social media.
Repute?
No.
Sure.
Also, that person who never mentioned it was 100% right about it. But yeah, no, this is doesn't necessarily. I mean, it crosses the line. Who am I kidding? It crosses the line, but also I laughed.
It's hilarious.
Peak pettiness.
This will be one of the moments, hopefully, that we remember from this NBA season. Desmond Bain being a lunatic, but yes, this is an all-timer. Oh, I thought it was going to be the bat breaking and Roger Clemens throwing it at Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
This is the most steroided moment in sports history. The bat breaks. Clemens throws the broken bat at Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza reacts like you'd expect. What are you doing? Yeah. Clemens says, I thought it was the ball. He thought a piece of wood that he chucked at Mike Piazza was the ball. Okay, let's say it was the ball.
Why are you throwing it?
Why are you throwing it? That's not how baseball works.
No.
You've won 6 Cy Youngs. You should know that.
It's not dodgeball.
Anyway,
look,
that was crazy.
If you're going to do it, be Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura.
It's just get your money's worth.
Yeah. Well, Robin didn't. Nolan Ryan did.
No.
But I mean, this...
better from that angle.
I love OG's reaction at first of stunned, and then he gets in his face like, what are you doing?
It's kind of like the Russ reaction when the one guy's giving him the double birds 2 feet away from him. Russ was kind of just pointing like.
Look, the NBA is the gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
It is.
There's so many little moments, and we haven't really done this because we haven't needed to, because the Blazers have been competitive in most games, but we haven't really done a full look around the league and where sit, and we're always focused on sort of that 7 through 10 spot in the Western Conference, but the top is still very interesting because of Oklahoma City, Dan.
Yeah,
they have one loss, and it was to the Portland Trailblazers.
Pretty good.
Are you still on your? Danny and I have talked. We postured. I guess it was
the 74
just last week
wins.
About the 74 wins, and they're 22-1 now. They're going to have such a big lead, presumably in the West, that they could, if they wanted to, probably shut it down with a couple weeks to go.
Well, look,
but
they've been playing.
If you're in that spot to get close to the record, you kind of have to see it out, don't you?
I think to an extent, but they have guys that have injuries and are injury prone, whether it's Hartenstein, whether it's Holmgren, whether it's J-Dub, or J. Will. You just kind of go down. There we go. LeBron James again.
His United States streak.
It's the simple thing.
Such an important record.
But the Thunder are a team where, yes, should they go for it if they can? Yes. But I think as we get to the All-Star break and they look around and they go, Chet Holmgren has had multiple lower body injuries, and he means drastically more to us if he is protected. And again, I am not a fan of sitting players out and protecting them. I don't like it. You get paid to play the game. That's what the money's for, all those things. But when I look at that stuff, I understand at least the justification for it. I just don't like it.
I'm in the same boat. I do think it's going to be interesting to see what Houston or Denver or the Lakers do anything at the trade deadline to try to say, okay, we're going to take a run at Oklahoma City, because those teams feel like they're in it much more than the 5% that you mentioned with Daryl Morey. Those are teams that feel like we can get to a 7-game series with Oklahoma City, and we need to do some tinkering to figure it out. But there really is a huge divide right now in the Western Conference of those teams and kind of the everybody else right now.
I mean, not even in the Western Conference. It's in the NBA. Like, there's OKC, there's the Houston, Denver, LA triumvirate, and there's some other teams that are kind of like popping up in there. You know, Minnesota, whether they figure some things out or not. But you just take that group and then you go look at the East. You've got Detroit, but after Detroit, the Knicks are number 2 out there.
Yeah.
Watching them play, they can look really good, but they can also look really bad.
They're great at home. They're the best team at home in the NBA besides the Thunder. They're 13-1.
It's a good spot. I mean, here you go. Boston's playing punching above their weight. Toronto is a perfectly fine team. Philly's probably better than people thought they were. But look at Miami, Cleveland, Atlanta. And it's just one of those situations where it's kind of crazy. The East right there, that Miami, Cleveland, Atlanta, Miami is just preordained to never get out of the play-in. Like,
they're
the play-in
exists.
It just exists for them.
Sure.
Well, them and Atlanta, to be honest. But I mean,
Detroit is Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They are the one that's standing above the rest right now. It doesn't really feel like the rest of these teams are in the same conversation with those top 4 of the Western Conference.
No, and I think that's kind of what people expected was the East to be pretty wide open with some teams at the top. Cleveland struggling, Toronto kind of punching above their weight, Atlanta not being as good as maybe people thought they were going to be. But it's God, there you go. There's old Bane. It's the simple things in life. But you just kind of take a look at where things are and how they shake out. Yes, OKC is firmly above everybody else, but I think that the next group of Western teams is still better than anything the East has to offer.
Sure, when you get into the range of San Antonio, Minnesota, Phoenix, Golden State, that whole
San
group.
Antonio is the scary one. Because if they get healthy, which means Wemby,
right,
then it's like, because remember, when they started the season, what Wemby was doing. Wemby was the MVP
without
of the first
Fox.
3 weeks of the season.
Right.
The stuff he was doing was just cartoonish, and you're just like, come on, man. And then the calf injury pops up, and obviously that kind of leads them to be a little issue. There you go, a little stoppage in play as the smoke machine goes off. Just an unfettered view of the game.
Going. Yeah, it's like an all-star break. I love it.
I mean, you're sitting in the end zone seats, and you're like, I guess I don't get to watch the game.
Yeah, that's so true. What a bummer.
Look, the Blazers have a little bit of smoke in their introductions, and it does kind of linger in the arena, but it's in part, the Blazers are the only team that do this. It lingers, but it makes for some super dope photos.
The photography is unbelievable.
Bruce Ely, who's the Blazers team photographer, Bruce is one of the best in the world at it.
King.
There's a flash that is hooked up to his camera that strobes in the entire building, and if you pay attention, you can catch it. That is what gives you some of those strong contrast photos that you see. But that smoke is what allows that to do that, because it picks up all the particles in the air. It's super cool what it allows it to do.
And then there's a lot of wise guys on social media that says, classic Portland, they're just smoking doobs in the crowd right now. And it's like, no, we make art is what we do.
Ah, there it is.
That is what we're doing.
Also, they don't you get caught vaping in that arena. They will walk you out.
They will, as they should.
Yeah. I don't want to smell it.
People try to do that at Walker Stadium for the Portland Pickles. Shout out my guy Lucky, who is, all my bosses at the Pickles are 23 years old. Lucky, it's true. Lucky is so funny. And so a kid was walking by vaping, and all he said was, "Show some better discretion," as he was walking by. And it's really stoked with me. Shout out Lucky. That's well done. The Blazers get a few days off. And
thankfully, blissfully. And then go back out of the road.
They do. But blissfully, see, there you have it.
See, there you go, man. That's what gives you that incredible look.
Yeah. Do you mean the hook shot, or you mean the?
Yeah, no, it's the smoke.
All of it.
It's all great. I mean, look how strong the contrast is.
That's so good.
It's super cool.
That's great. Oh my gosh! If you are watching this at a bar or a restaurant, you can't hear me, and this message is for you.
Oh, it's my turn, right?
A mute message from Danny Marang.
There you go. Which one are we going into? We going in here? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The IRS should audit these refs.
Yes.
I can't say that anything unspeakable should happen to them, but the IRS looking into their accounts would sure be fun.
Got him. Only 22 years of experience on that officiating crew.
And I think Zach Zarba by
Haberstat.
himself has 22. So
Gotta go Zarba. Good haircut, too. Blazers are fortunate. The schedule is starting to turn their way.
I believe they now have the easiest schedule in the NBA from here on out. So going from the most difficult to the easiest.
New Orleans helps that. That's where they're going to be on Thursday.
Yeah, they get New Orleans and I think Sacramento twice in the span of the next couple of weeks.
Yes, and you're going to be on a Zoom call? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, the next time you guys see this show, I will be
Just gonna be me.
Baltimore at Army-Navy game, broadcasting live on location from my hotel room.
Live. I'll just pray for a strong internet connection.
Let's hope, because the hotel last year in D.C.,
Can we make sure Guillermo's here just in case?
Just in case, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, that's true. America's Funniest Home Videos is not on. Ma'am, I apologize.
But we are worth it.
Danny will do the Carlton dance. As a way to atone for our sins. We deeply. I knew he couldn't resist. He couldn't resist. We appreciate you watching. If you are here specifically for a Blazers program, congrats. You are a sicko. If you're looking for someone getting a hit in the crotch with a wiffle ball bat, that'll be up.
Stay tuned.
Very, very shortly. Blazers will be back on Thursday. We'll see you then. We love you all so much.
Bye.